That's Good morning, world. This is Laquisha Williams. How you ladies doing?
Fine.
Awesome. Good morning.
Great.
How was your weekend? Anything new?
You know we need our own segment for our weekend.
What's news happening out there in the world?
Love is happening in the world.
Yes. Spread it.
Yes,
Spread the love.
yes. My girlfriend got married. My girlfriend from college, Stephanie, she got married this weekend in Dallas, and it was really, really beautiful.
Yeah, I saw your videos.
Yeah, I was like, Lord, it's close.
It's coming.
It's not even around the corner. It's in the house right now.
It's in the house.
So I'm excited about that.
Awesome. That's good stuff. Well, I'm glad to be here on another Monday. So we want to welcome you all to the Good Success segment. I am one of your co-hosts for today, Laquisha Williams, and we also have
LaShannon Petit.
and our special guest co-host, the one and only
Davica, the Wonder Twins.
All right.
So guess what, guys? We have an amazing guest, special guest here that I'm about to introduce. So get your notebooks, get your pens, and just be ready to be inspired this morning. Alicia Couri is an empowerment speaker, author, actor, business development facilitator, international celebrity makeup artist, and style expert. With the success of her own makeup line, Alicia's been contracted by MyLife.net to create a cosmetic and makeup line she's entitled Win, and be their director of the beauty division. That sounds exciting.
Yeah.
Yes. Alicia, guess what, guys? She has also appeared on ABC,
All right now.
CBS, NBC, and a host of radio programs, and is the lead in an independent film project currently shooting right here in South Florida.
Yep.
The Debates, and hosts a web show on In Focus TV. Her first book, available on Amazon, is all about personal development called Your Signature Style, unlocking the confidence, style, and influence of the savvy CEO. And just released her latest book, Age Younger, which she will be talking about today. 21 tips to make your 40s look like your 20s.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Awesome.
And it's available, guys, for a free download, but you have to wait until the end of the segment to know where you can get this free download. And if you see Alicia,
Yes.
I can't tell her age, but
Right.
she is over 40 and looking fabulous.
That's what's up.
Have been married and have beautiful kids and a wonderful family.
Almost 50.
Are you
Yeah,
serious?
really?
Yes, and look at it. She is
No.
just
No.
beautiful.
Listen, black don't cry.
Good life and living a good
Listen.
life and having love in the Lord.
Oh, yes, the love of the
So,
Lord. for
Alicia,
sure.
thanks for coming to the show.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. I didn't know if that would have taken up the whole hour.
And that's just a snippet of what
Right.
you're doing.
It's not even the tip of the iceberg.
Oh my goodness. So thank you so much. I appreciate you inviting me last week when we sat down for lunch to come on your show. I'm so excited to be here with you wonderful ladies. And so yes, my new book, Age Younger, because over the years, especially as a makeup artist, people always ask me, how do I look so young? Because when they find out my age, which my age is 47, next month I'll be 48.
Did it.
That is, isn't she fabulous?
I'll be 48, yes. I can't even believe it myself.
Wow.
So I have 3 children, yes. My oldest will be 20 this year.
Oh, wow.
And then I have a 14-year-old and a 9-year-old. And people generally don't believe me when I tell them that is my life. And so they keep saying, well, what do you do? What do you do? So I said, all right, I'll write it in a book. So I put these tips in a book. There's so much depth in each tip that I really couldn't go into it in the book. Otherwise, the book would be huge. But I just wanted to give the highlights of
You sit down and play with me. You're my partner. You with me, and you get up.
what it is that I've done over the last 20 years or so, basically my whole life, that I attribute to the way I look and how I feel and everything else. So that's what's in the book.
All right, well, let's dive into that. Could you give us one or two tips on how we can, because listen, I'm proud of my age, and I know I look good too for my age.
You sure do. You sure do.
I'm 36 and proud.
Yay.
You know, because I would go around people, I'm like, you what age?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Yes, you look fabulous.
so tell us, give us some of those tips. I want to stay looking younger.
So every day on Facebook, Monday to Friday, I do a tip. I've been going through the tips in the book. So one of the things last week that I talked about was your thoughts and your words, because the first thing.
Laquisha's always about that.
Yeah, I had to put that in as number one because that really controls your destiny. It controls where you go. And one of my favorite scriptures actually is Psalm 103:5, where he says that he renews your youth like the eagle. You know, that's one of the benefits of the blessings of God.
Wow, that's
He
good.
renews your youth like the eagle. So that I heard that and I took it and I ate it and I kept it. so I just keep believing that my youth is renewed. My youth is renewed. My youth is renewed as part of the blessing. And so in your thoughts, when you think young, when you continue to perceive yourself as young, because I always look at myself as there's so much to learn, there's so much to do, there's so much, that I don't know yet. So I always look at life through the eyes of a child because there's just so much still to learn.
Yes.
And that, I believe, helps keep me young because I'm always wanting to learn more and wanting to experience life more. And that is my thought process always. And you have to watch your words. Your words create containers of reality. And so if you continue to speak negative things over yourself, if you continue to reinforce the things that you think you're seeing, like crow's feet or, physically in your body, if you continue to reinforce those things, then they become a reality. So I tend to not dwell on those things. The Bible says think on things that are lovely and good and honest, things that are of a good report. So, stop being so down on the things that you're seeing as negative and reinforce those things that are positive. And
I think that's really important when you're dealing with beauty and fashion. And
Yes.
I see that you're a makeup artist and I'm a wardrobe stylist, and
Yes.
that was one of the things that I deal with clients. Yes.
That's why I know
While
you.
you were talking, I was like,
That's why I know you. Yes.
Yep.
But there's certain you see that women and men have certain insecurities, and on the outside there are things that actually we actually think are beautiful about the person, but the person
They don't see it.
They don't see it as that way.
And that's why I wrote my first book, actually, because I struggled so much with believing in my own beauty and believing that I was worthy and all those things. So I really struggle with that. And I know a lot of people struggle with that. And people look at me and say, how could you, please?
Yeah.
It could be the most
real.
beautiful
It's so
person
real.
in the world.
It is
Yes.
real.
Yes. because
And
you-
I
those
deal with
messages
people
that
all the
you hear.
time
Yeah.
as a makeup artist. And the first thing that they tell me, can you cover this? Can you hide this? Can you make this? So we all deal with some form of insecurity. And it's real to us. It's very real to us. And until you come to the place where you're ready to overcome that and start working on it, it will continue to invade your life. So, yeah.
Oh, that's good stuff. That's a great point too, because a lot of times we think that staying young is just getting plastic surgery and all this stuff and deforming your face sometimes, which is, to
Yeah.
each his own.
Right.
But your thoughts And
It
like
starts
you
in the
remind-
thought process.
Right, it starts there. And could you give us another tip?
Another tip. Oh, let me see. What can I give you today?
Because we want you guys to download. She has 21 tips to make your 40s look like your 20s.
20s. I just put a
So does it mean that my 30s gonna look like my 10?
like your teens. Listen, I still feel like I'm 16, so
But do you,
I'm
can I
just
ask you a
getting
question?
started.
Do you work out? Because I would assume that would be
my
probably
next
one of your tips, maybe.
I
I mean, you can.
doesn't even
let's
have-
talk about
she
that.
was born
No,
with it.
no.
I mean, she
Let's
was
talk
just
about
born
that.
with it.
No.
It's not fair.
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. No. When I hit
Wow.
40, things went off the rails.
Really? That happens?
Yes.
Oh, God.
Things went off the rails when I hit 40 because I had my third child when I was 38. And around 41, I stopped, I finished breastfeeding and I kept eating like I was breastfeeding. And I was shoveling food. And I realized I would look at pictures of myself and I'm like, that's not me. I had a belly and I had my thighs were, I was like, no, this is not happening. And
I bet that's hard with you being married and with kids, and
it was, I just kept making excuses that, oh, I can lose the weight anytime. Oh, it's no big deal. And then when I went shopping and I realized that I kept trying on clothes and kept going up a size. I'm like, this still doesn't fit. This is bad. And I decided to do something about it. So I did a 30-day cleanse. And that a detoxifying cleanse, and that helped get me started. I needed a jump start. I needed to reboot my metabolism. So I did that 30-day cleanse to reboot my metabolism, get me going again. And after I did the cleanse, then I started, because I used to walk 30 minutes. I used to, what I thought was exercise. So one day I was doing my, I went out to do my little 30-minute walk. And before I went out, I had listened to an interview with Tony Robbins. And he said that you need to do something in the morning to change your state, change the state of your body. He jumps in ice cold water every morning. He changes his state by going into changing his body into freezing temperature. Yeah, that's not going to happen. So I stepped out and I said, what if instead of walking, I ran? And I started running, and of course I had to stop and, and then I started, and before long, within a week, I could run the whole thing that I would normally take probably like 15, 20 minutes to walk. I would run it, and it would take me 7 minutes. And I thought, I could do this. I could run this in 7 minutes. And by running instead of walking, that reshaped my body. It toned my legs. It toned everything. I thought, man, I could do this every day, 7 minutes. So people laugh at me when I said I don't exercise more than 7 minutes. Like go for my 7-minute run and that's it. But it works for me, and I'm a person with a very short attention span. So that 30-minute walk, I'd make any excuse not to go.
Right.
I would make any excuse. But can you give yourself 7 minutes of intensity? I said I can give myself 7 minutes of intensity. I deserve at least 7 minutes to myself.
Right.
And so now it's down to 6 minutes. I can run it in less than, sometimes less than 6 minutes. But it's the intensity that makes the difference for me. And I can't make an excuse to not give myself 6 to 7 minutes a day of really intense workout. That's what I do. I don't go to the gym. I don't spend hours pumping iron and that kind of stuff.
I think that was real rich what you said. As women, we need to at least invest in ourselves. That's the self-care piece. Whether it's working out or having a spa or going to get your nails done or, getting your facial. In your book, do you kind of really empower women to take that self-care, even if it's additional to getting up that 7 minutes in the morning, because that balance, because, when you're overworking, overtired, it does age you.
Yes, it does age you. I don't remember exactly how I phrased it, but I did say that you need to take time for yourself to do something positive for your body and for yourself. Hi, Nikita. So, what you were saying about self-care, sometimes we think it's going to take forever. Like, I don't get my nails done. Again, I'm impatient.
Right.
I cannot sit and get my nails done. Even when I do it myself, I'm like, and then I mess it up because I have to go do something. So, knowing who you are and what you are capable of is very important too. Because we get into this thing that says, I have to go work out. And then we make it a big deal that we cannot sustain it because consistency is what works. And if you cannot sustain it, don't even start it. And I think that's what most people, why they don't start, because they're like, oh, if I get a gym membership, that means I have to go to the gym every day and I don't have time and blah, blah, blah. And you talk yourself out of doing something good for yourself. But like I said, I understood that that's not who I was. And I needed something quick and easy that I can be consistent with. And running 7 minutes in the morning made me consistent.
That's good, because the busy woman, that industrious woman, needs to be able to know how she can find 7 minutes. For
7 minutes for herself.
Yes,
and that's all I needed. That's really all, because I sing, I meditate.
Number 7 is my number.
Number 7 is your number.
Yes, it
all
is.
right. Perfect.
Now, I love your mission statement. It says your goal is to boost your confidence and make you and your business red carpet ready.
Yes.
A lot of women suffer from low self-esteem and not having that confidence. They lack a lot of confidence. What do you think is some of the root causes of why a woman cannot just love themselves and just stand up there and be great?
Okay, so we talked about that earlier about, the self-talk, right? The thoughts. And comparison is a big thing. Comparison steals your joy.
Yes, it does.
And we have to stop looking at what others have and what others look like and comparing it to ourselves. In my first book, Your Signature Style, which deals a lot with confidence and fear and overcoming those things, I talked about when I was a child growing up in Australia and being in an environment that nobody represented me. Nothing around me looked like me. And that's kind of where I got my beauty image from, because nothing, I couldn't see it reflected anywhere in my environment.
Wow.
And so my beauty was, in my mind, didn't show up anywhere. And so as a child, I didn't have beauty because it wasn't represented. And so I always wanted to have what I didn't have. I wanted a straight nose. I used to sleep with a clothespin on my nose because my nose was too broad. The most ridiculous things as a child that you do. And so I think from childhood, when we don't give our young girls those messages of beauty, that they are beautiful and that they're worthy, they grow up with that sense that they're not. And so it starts with, and I think now society is starting to move a little bit more into the toys, and Barbie is now plus size and black Barbie and right, and exactly, and trying to start representing some more of those features for our young girls. And it doesn't really matter the color or the hair texture or anything like that, as long as you can empower them to feel good about themselves, about who they are, and that they're worthy, and they have a very special gift, and they have something of value to give to the world. That's where it begins. And as women now, we have to look back into our childhood and see where we got those messages from, and start purging those things from our thought process, and say, well, who told you that? Where did you get that idea from? And rewrite that programming.
That's right.
Reprogram yourself. And we have the power to do it. We're not powerless. So we have to start looking back into those things, those ideas and those thoughts. When a thought pops into your head, don't just accept it. Just kind of stop and say, well, where did that come from? You know, who said I couldn't do this, or who said I wasn't worthy, or who said that just because I have thick lips that I'm ugly? No. Now everybody wants big lips.
Yeah, right.
I always try to make my lips thinner, but that was
Wow.
But there's so many women who are paying to have big lips.
I know.
And, you know, so I think the most important thing nowadays is to understand that our individual beauty is unique. And it should be celebrated. And I think a lot of times, even Laquisha and Davica, that's what we stress on our own platforms. That
Exactly.
individual beauty is accepted. And if you're listening, we would like you all to listen online at WMBM Gospel 1490. You can download the mobile app for free. Search AM 1490 WMBM, and we're also on the TuneIn app as Gospel 1490. I see on here, Miss Alicia, that you have your own makeup line. Can you tell us like how that started, the process of owning your own makeup line? Because I know that's not simple. Just hey, I'm gonna own a makeup line. How did that work?
Well, as a makeup artist, I would put makeup on people, and they would always ask me, "Oh, what was that? And how do I get that?" And I worked a lot with brides. I worked a lot in the wedding industry, and I wanted to
I'm
have.
gonna do my makeup when I get married.
Well, girl, put the appointment in now.
Always booked.
So I wanted to have something like to give them as like a care package, or give them something to go with them. And I also kept thinking, well, why am I sending them to all these different places to buy stuff? And someone asked me, why don't you just have your own makeup line? I'm like, you can't just have your own makeup line. How do you do that? And I started researching it and trying to figure out how I can get into that, into owning my own products. And it was a process of researching a lot of different manufacturing companies, a lot of investment, trying to find the right products that I liked, that worked, because there's a lot of stuff out there. There's a lot of stuff out there. And I wanted to make sure that it was affordable as well. And so it took me like a year of research, a year of trial and error, and finding the right things. And then I compiled the line together. And I've had it for 8 years now. And now it's kind of phasing out into the new, because I'm moving into this new role as the director of the beauty division for MyLife.net. And we're formulating product, and it's so exciting that I actually, because the first line, it was finding products that already existed that I can bring into and brand. This one, we're actually formulating a lot of the product ourselves, and I have a great hand in helping to formulate that product. I talk to the scientists and tell them what it is that I'm looking for, and and we pull it together. And our first product, I probably have a sample in my bag, but it's called a 60-second facelift. And it's phenomenal. You don't need it. You don't need it. You don't need it.
So wait, we're gonna stop right there because we're gonna take a break.
All right.
And so we're gonna hear more about the 60-second facelift right after the break.
Hey guys, thank you for joining. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you for the love.
Just throughout. For them to listen online.
It
would be cool if we had the call-in number too, if someone wanted to call and ask a question. Next time I'll ask her for that.
Okay.
Give us that. I like this.
So,
Glam 360.
let me see. I know I was supposed to bring some other things.
Okay.
You want us to touch on?
Okay,
I was going to go into this.
Yes, we can talk about that too. Because after the makeup line,
You okay?
huh?
You good?
So this is the sample that I have.
This is the devil. This is the devil.
60-second facelift.
Ooh.
That's a sample.
Ooh.
It's it plumps and it tight. No, well, this is just
going to ask her about the In Focus stuff, the web show.
Do you want to go?
yeah, the web show and stuff is
And the film project.
and the movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
The movie and your role.
gosh,
Yeah, this girl.
this diva, this diva that I'm playing. She's crazy.
She crazy.
She's crazy. She's a concoction of my
Oh,
director.
she's like you on like boom.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Thank you all for watching.
And I shared your
Yes, thank you for sharing.
sharing is
I don't
caring.
think we're friends.
Sharing is caring. Yeah, and you were also at Discover the Beauty Within.
Yes.
We bumped up all over the
everywhere.
place. Yeah, we bump into each other all over the place. Yay. Hey, Mike. Hi.
Like real springish. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
All right. If I'm still running for mayor. Yes. Of course I'm running for mayor, Mike. You and I.
Do you want to ask her about the In Focus, Sharon?
Yeah, you can ask her. It doesn't matter.
Or you wanna ask her?
Like more, just like her
This
role
part.
in it. This part right
We
here.
want to go down on
In Focus TV.
In Focus.
Okay, so after we finish the
60-second facelift.
Yeah, and like when is it airing and stuff like that.
Okay, so yeah, In Focus TV is an online web channel that
Oh, it's
they,
online. Okay.
yeah, that they can go subscribe to right now, actually. And
Is that the independent film project or that's something else?
well, I work with LMG TV, which
LMG is that
Lassane Media Group, yeah. And so the movie and the In Focus TV is part.
That is theirs.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's all part of it. So
Okay.
I know it's before 11, and I'm live, and I'm supposed to be live at 11.
All right,
but I'll be
now
back.
welcome back. Welcome back. Again, you can listen in online at WMBM Gospel 1490 Miami, Florida, and also tunein.com to listen to us live. So again, we have our special guest here, Alicia Couri, and she was telling us about the 60-second facelift.
What did I do with it? Okay. Yes. So the idea behind the 60-second facelift is the products that we're coming out with for My Life, My Beauty, the My Beauty division for MyLife.net is things that you can add on to what you're already doing. And the 60-second facelift, what it does, it's so exciting, is it plumps and it tightens all at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And if the effects start within a minute of you putting it on.
And it plumps like your
It
face.
plumps areas of your face. So like if you find that you have, sometimes we get bags under our eyes or it sinks, it hollows in, or we have crow's feet or these like 11 lines between here. And so you can put it on the areas that you want plumped. And it's not just, what I like about it is some products out there, it's just for that like 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours.
Okay.
Even though the effects of this will last about 8 to 10 hours, the more you use it, it helps rebuild that collagen in that area. So the more you use it, it's actually going to help your skin reboost itself. So which is what I love about the product. And so that should be available soon, shortly. I don't have an exact date that we're launching it, but by the end of this month or beginning of May, it should be out and ready to be purchased. And the price point is pretty good too, because for a half-ounce bottle, it will be under $40.
Oh yeah, that's really good.
And it works, girls. It works. Ladies and gentlemen, men too. My husband, I tried it on my husband first thing, and he was like, oh, wow. Like, we need this. So yes. So it's a great product.
All right, so just to shift the conversation just a tad bit. So we're super excited to hear that you are currently shooting a new independent film project here in South Florida called The Debate. So where can we find this on InFocus TV? Kind of give us a little bit about your character, what to expect, kind of tell our audience about it. That way we can be tuned in to see your beautiful face on this new independent film.
Okay, so we're still filming.
Okay.
We don't have an exact finished date of that yet either. We're still in the process. We're almost completed. But my character is a city commissioner of a fictitious city in Florida.
I wonder which one.
No, it's all made up. Really, the whole thing is all made up. So she's a city commissioner, and she's running for mayor. And that's why Mike asked me if I'm still running for mayor here on Facebook Live, because he is my opponent running for mayor. And she really is nothing like me, or maybe just a little bit. Because she only has two modes of operation. She is either seducing you into her way.
Thoughts and views or comments. That's what Bishop would play that if he was here.
Or if she's not seducing you, she is violent towards you. So she only has either seduction or violence. There's a thin line between love and hate. Well, she walks that line.
So tell us, how did you get into filming? You're a makeup artist, so how did that transition? How did you transition?
Okay, so I am a speaker.
Okay.
Right? We talked about me being a speaker, and last year I was invited to the Lycée Media Group, their acting camp. And I figured I would do the acting camp to help me as a speaker, with my performance level and memorizing my speeches, and that it'll just help me. And Tony LaShannon, he was running the acting camp. He's a writer, director. He's, head of the LMG Lycée Media Group, along with his beautiful wife, Woody. Yes. And their children. And so he said he was writing this movie, and he had a part in it that he would like me to play or audition for, or if I'd be comfortable doing it. And I said, oh, okay, sure. And as the process was going on, it just turned out that the part ended up being the lead. I thought I was just going to be like a secretary. I'm like, I'll just get this little itty bitty part in the movie. But I ended up being the lead in the movie. So that's exciting. And thank you, Tony, if you're watching. So he trusted me enough to jump into this role. And
So where can we see this? I saw something about a web show.
Okay, so
InFocus TV.
Yes, InFocus TV is part of. So you can go to infocustv.online, and that is a web platform actually for. I host one of the shows on InFocus TV, and it's about business innovation. It's about entertainment, and we have a lot of content on there for business owners, for startup companies, for people who love movies, who love cars. So there's a lot of content loaded every day on that web platform for you to check out. So you can go to infocustv.online and subscribe.
Yes.
Awesome. Yes. This is the Good Success segment, and we always want to know how our guests define success. Can you tell us your definition of success?
I'm going to read it from my book, Your Signature Style. My definition of success, there are three things that I look for, that I consider if I did something, if there was not that blatant, that everybody can see was successful. I define success as, did I learn something from the experience? Did I, like I said, I was going to read it. What did I take away from that experience? And can I teach someone out of that experience? And that for me is success. Because if I can take something, even if it didn't look like a huge success, or some people might even call that a failure, because it didn't generate the income that I was looking for it to generate, or it didn't generate whatever impact. Those three things are what I look for. Did I learn something? what was the takeaway, what could I take away from it, and can I teach someone out of that experience? So that's how I define success.
What are some of the greatest achievements that, because you've done so much, what are some of one of the greatest highlights of your life thus far that you can share with us that can inspire our audience?
So you came with me the very first time I went on television.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah.
I wanted to get the feel of
I know.
it. Man,
My very first time on TV, Laquisha took that road trip with me. I think that was a huge accomplishment for me because that was so out of the box for me to do. Because I fancied myself this kind of introvert and this kind of person that I could never do something like that. And that was taking a huge step out of my comfort zone. And that propelled my confidence to a level that I, couldn't even, it would probably have taken me years to get there if I had done it little by little. By pushing myself out onto television, and not just pushing myself out onto television, but booking myself on television, calling producers. Talk about putting yourself out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
Getting on the phone and calling producers of a television show and asking them to put you on their show. It's like,
So what station were you on?
Okay, so we went to Jacksonville, we went to Tallahassee, and we were on CBS, NBC, ABC in Jacksonville and Tallahassee, and News 4 Jacksonville.
Wow.
And we did 4 or 5 shows in a week.
Like 6 o'clock in the morning.
At 6 o'clock in the morning.
Really early.
We did about 5 shows. Well, I did 5 shows. She just tagged along.
No, what were you pitching? I know, when you're trying to get on these shows, you have to pitch some ideas. So
you have to pitch a segment.
Yeah,
and so my segment then was makeup techniques. Was on different makeup techniques. And I have those loaded up on my YouTube channel and on my website.
What's your YouTube channel?
It's I think it's Alicia Couri. I'm trying to remember. If you go to my website, everything is loaded on my website under media. My website is aliciacouri.com. ALICIACOURI.com.
Okay.
Well, what are some books that you can suggest for our audiences that's listening?
Oh my goodness, I read so many books over the last years.
No, because why I ask, because a lot of times, because this is the Good Success segment, so we have a lot of people from various walks of life, careers,
yes,
entrepreneurs, and people want to know how to, we spoke about thoughts and words, and some people want to know how they can even start. I mean, their environment is not conducive of one to think right, or have the positivity, and sometimes you may have to pick up a book, download a free book, go to Barnes and Nobles.
Right.
So what we do is sometimes ask our guests, and that's why I wanted to know how, what are some of the things that inspire you? If you can't think of a specific book, what are some of the things that inspire you, that keep you going? Because as we can see, actor, author, entrepreneur, mother, wife. I know you're active in your church, so there's so many things that you do. What keeps Alicia going?
So there are a couple books that do stand out for me. Of course, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, as we're talking about thoughts. Think and Grow Rich. The Science of Getting Rich, that's another really great book. And The Millions Within, David Nagel. It's another great book. And there are a couple books by Kenneth Copeland. I can't remember the title of them right now, forgive me, but there are some really, really great books to help build your mind and build your spirit alongside, because The Science of Getting Rich does bring in a lot of biblical principles. But when I read something from Kenneth Copeland or Jesse Duplantis, where they're really teaching you how to connect the word and the spirit and elevate yourself. Those are really, you know, I can go on and on and on on that topic. Yeah, there are just so many. You need to be a reader. Mm-hmm. You need to be a reader. You need to feed your mind. You need to be able to expand where you are internally before it can ever show externally. Mm-hmm. So you need to be a reader and find good books, find inspirational books, find biographies of people that you look up to, that help you, that you understand that they were not an overnight success. Mm-hmm. It's all a process. And sometimes we want to get from here to over there, mm-hmm. and we despise the process. Mm-hmm. But, you know, it is a process. And reading helps that process along.
Currently, I'm reading Jump by Steve Harvey. Mm-hmm. And it's really, really good. I've read all his other books, but it's really good at showing you. He talks about the pageant incident when he announced the wrong, you know, and really what he did with that. I was like, oh man, it was so awesome. He took the blame, and it wasn't his fault.
He took responsibility.
And he took responsibility. Mm-hmm. So it was really interesting to learn that part of him. Mm-hmm. But reading is something from when I was younger that my mother made me do. She really made me do it, and because she made me do it, I end up enjoying it. So it's definitely something. It does expand your horizon, and even when you're a busy person, it's hard to it's hard to read it. But I got this from Laquisha reading in the morning, or reading at least 10 minutes a day. Mm-hmm.
There's so, that 10 minutes or less. Take the time for yourself.
So I take that time, and even while I was away, I was reading. I enjoyed the time away, so I can do so I can do me.
When I go on vacation with my family, I want to do things with my kids and everything, but I want to take some time to read too. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned Steve Harvey, and it was good because there was another incident this year with was it a pageant where someone announced the wrong winner?
No, it was the Oscars.
The Oscars, right. It was the Oscars at the end, the best picture. Mm-hmm, and Steve Harvey was the first person to reach out to
the people.
To tell them it's okay. It'll be all right. You know, so he was able to take that adversity and help someone else through another difficult situation. And you're absolutely right. You mentioned something else just now, taking responsibility. A lot of times we don't take responsibility for ourselves and our own actions and where we are, because we are where we are because we put ourselves there. Mm-hmm. And we need to taking responsibility. We're so quick to blame someone else or blame a situation or blame everything else around us instead of taking responsibility for where you are and what's going on in your life. And I think that is a big step in moving forward, because if you can take responsibility and say, you know what, even if it's not your fault, but I was there, so I had some role to play in it, and I'm going to accept the responsibility for what my role is and then move forward. So that's a big thing too.
Yes, that's rich. So for those who are listening, can you tell them how they can reach you, how they can book you? How does that work?
Okay, so you can go to my website, again, aliciacouri.com, ALICIACOURI.com, and my email is alicia@aliciacouri.com. So that's the easiest ways to reach me, or on social media. Just look me up. Just look me up on social media. Ask me anything.
What's new? What else is coming up for you? What is the next phase?
Well, I'm in talks to start my own radio show. So that's just another thing to jump into, my own radio show.
So will it be about makeup? Will it be about makeup products?
It's probably more going to be about self-development than just makeup, because I'm very passionate about, reaching higher levels and how to do that. And I'm not a psychologist, but I have experience in doing it. And so we're toying with the title Unleashed, and how to unleash the the person inside of you that's dying to come out. Because that's how I feel. Like there's someone inside of me that's dying to come out.
Do you sometimes look look at your life and see how makeup was the center and how all these other opportunities stem from that?
Absolutely. The way I got into makeup actually was very divinely orchestrated. I had my second child and I was looking for something to do, and I went to church one day and Bob Harrison was preaching, and he is what do they call him again? It's escaped me right now, but he was talking about what you were meant to do. He's like, some of you are sitting here in the audience trying to figure out what you were meant to do. And I'm like, yeah, that's me.
Right.
And he said, well, you know, what you were meant to do, if you go back in your life and you think about what you used to enjoy as a child, what you loved, but didn't think that you can actually make money doing it, that's probably where your gift lies. And I started thinking, I went home and I started thinking, you know what? I always loved makeup. I always loved fashion. I always loved hair. And so, yeah. And so I thank God for Google. And at the time, I was actually thinking of becoming a wedding planner because I love planning. I love parties and doing all that kind of stuff. So I actually Googled wedding, hair, makeup, and voila. A whole career was born. And it's so funny. I had my hair and makeup done for my wedding, but I didn't even connect it to that's an industry. Duh. And so I found someone that was willing to train me and support me in getting jobs and stuff. And that's kind of how my makeup career started about 13 years ago. And that was a stepping stone, because after a while I found that wasn't it. You know, that was just one step in a bigger plan for my life. And so everything is kind of just led from that one thing, just stepping out in faith and saying, okay, this is where I'm supposed to go.
So you have clients or had clients that booked you for the red carpet CEO. Could you give us an example of how once before they came to you and after, like a before and after that process?
Okay, so the red carpet CEO has there are 6 different elements to it. So sometimes people will book me just for one thing or for multiple things. So the whole premise behind the red carpet CEO is, how is your business stacking up to the red carpet, or you and your business stacking up to the red carpet? When people talk about the red carpet, they usually talk about the fashions, the glam, Hollywood, entertainment. I looked at it from a different perspective, as who is invited onto the red carpet. So people who are invited onto the red carpet, they're important, right? They're well branded. They have, they're highly skilled at what they do. They're top of mind and they're in high demand. They have confidence. And of course, beauty is in everything that I do. It's the foundation of everything that I do. So, so sometimes someone just wants that image. They want to have that image. So I would do an image consulting with them and help them through a photo shoot and all that kind of stuff, so that they can start their process of being really strongly branded. So that's just one aspect of it. Helping someone build their confidence if they want to be a speaker, or if they want to be just to be more assertive in what they're doing. That's another thing that we can do. And so it's just out of those 6 things, whatever it is that someone thinks that they need help at that moment with, that's what I kind of help them through that process. Okay. So it's not, I haven't taken someone through all 6, through all 6 phases of it. It's been like an a la carte thing so far.
And since you are a beauty expert, who are some of the icons that you looked up to?
Oh, that's a big question.
Yeah.